Все, рванули. Вот так происходит штурм, блядь. Под ноги, пацаны. А что у нас? А, Вань, пошли. Мы троем как раз. Иди сюда, дружище. Идешь ты, нет? Ты на прикрытии? Братуха, на прикрытии ты? Да. Давай. Что, дальше идем? Возьми, отошел в другую. Да, сгоревшее тело чье-то, прикинь. Вот смотри, аккуратно, ноги. Эвакуация!
Dramatic frontline footage. Russian troops launch coordinated assault on Ukrainian fortress. Dramatic footage from the battlefield has revealed an intense clash on the front lines, where Russian troops launched a carefully coordinated assault on entrenched Ukrainian forces. The video captures the slow but deliberate advance of Russian units as they moved under strict command control toward the Ukrainian defensive positions. Using precise coordination, Russian troops maintained their formation while pressing forward, gradually closing the distance to the enemy fortress. The advance highlighted the discipline of the units, as every movement was synchronized under orders, minimizing exposure to Ukrainian fire. The footage shows a fierce exchange of gunfire as Russian soldiers and Ukrainian defenders engaged in a close-quarters firefight. From behind cover, Ukrainian troops opened fire to repel the attack, while Russian soldiers, making use of the dense forest terrain, returned fire from concealed positions among the trees. The natural cover provided both concealment and protection, allowing Russian fighters to continue pressing their assault.
Вот там крики. Вот там. Не. Смотри, она вот смотана, видишь? Вот сумки смотаны. Под сумки смотаны. Эта хуйня, она все примотана к веревке.
Граната лежит, слышь, вот граната лежит.
Короче, все заминировано. Варианты какие?
Отходим! Аккуратно, отход!
relentless battle near Pokrovsk, Russian troops burn enemy equipment, infantry, and positions day and night. The war near Pokrovsk continues to escalate into one of the most destructive and intense fronts of the current conflict. Over the course of September 18th and 19th, soldiers of the Russian Armed Forces Center Group of Forces carried out a series of large-scale combat operations that resulted in the systematic destruction of Ukrainian manpower, military equipment, artillery, and UAV control centers. The footage and reports emerging from the battlefield reveal the extraordinary scope of these operations, underscoring how both technology and tactical precision are being harnessed in this critical sector of the front. Battle in Pokrovsk, firepower by day and night. Russian forces operating near Pokrovsk launched a relentless assault on enemy positions, employing a wide range of weapons and drones. For 2 consecutive days, the center group conducted intensive strikes that targeted Ukrainian infantry, fortified positions, and combat vehicles. The destruction of Ukrainian artillery and UAV control hubs dealt a particularly heavy blow to the operational capabilities of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, AFU. Reports indicate that Russian soldiers used a combination of artillery, kamikaze drones, and armored units to suppress and dismantle Ukrainian defenses. Drone footage documented the targeting of military warehouses and weapons stockpiles, where explosions lit up the night sky as Russian firepower struck with devastating accuracy. The battle did not pause at nightfall. Russian troops continued their offensive around the clock, denying the enemy any opportunity to regroup or reinforce. Coordinated operations. On September 18th, units of the Center Group initiated a sweeping attack across multiple sectors of the Pokrovsk direction. Their primary focus was to weaken Ukrainian fire support and disrupt supply channels. Ukrainian strongholds, artillery placements, and defensive trenches were struck methodically. The destruction of UAV control centers deprived Ukrainian forces of critical reconnaissance and coordination tools, leaving them vulnerable to subsequent strikes. Combat footage revealed Russian infantry moving in tandem with drone operators, ensuring precision in targeting. In one engagement, Ukrainian armored personnel carriers were ambushed and destroyed, their wrecks left burning on the battlefield. Russian troops also stormed defensive positions, pushing the front line forward and expanding their control in the contested region. September, expanding the offensive. The following day, Russian troops renewed their assault with even greater ferocity. Once again, the center group focused on burning out enemy infantry and smashing fortified positions. Their strikes destroyed additional artillery guns and eliminated pockets of Ukrainian resistance hiding in bunkers and shelters. Drone reconnaissance played a crucial role in detecting hidden positions, after which artillery and FPV drones rained down accurate fire. Russian reports described the battle as one of constant pressure, where Ukrainian defenders were given no respite. As Russian units pressed forward, they left behind a battlefield littered with destroyed equipment, shattered fortifications, and abandoned Ukrainian positions. The role of aerial reconnaissance. Beyond Pokrovsk itself, Russian units expanded their operations with aerial reconnaissance missions. Using advanced drone technology, they identified concentrations of Ukrainian forces in other locations. Once coordinates were confirmed, Russian artillery unleashed precision strikes on these targets. Entire defensive nodes were destroyed in this process, leaving Ukrainian troops scrambling under heavy bombardment. The footage from these reconnaissance-guided strikes demonstrates the increasingly central role of drones in modern warfare. By combining real-time surveillance with precision-guided munitions, Russian forces maximized both the effectiveness of their artillery and the efficiency of their ground assaults. Impact on the battlefield. The dual operations of September highlight the tactical doctrine employed by the center group: sustained pressure, overwhelming firepower, and the integration of drones with traditional military assets. The systematic destruction of Ukrainian UAV control centers is especially significant, as it reduces the ability of Ukrainian forces to conduct surveillance and coordinate their counteroffensives. Ukrainian units defending in the Pokrovsk direction faced mounting casualties and heavy equipment losses. Reports suggest that many defenders were forced to retreat under the relentless bombardment, abandoning positions that had been fortified over weeks of preparation. Russian forces capitalized on this, consolidating their gains and pushing their assault units further toward key Ukrainian logistical hubs. Psychological and strategic consequences. For Ukrainian troops, the psychological toll of facing constant artillery, drone strikes, and infantry assaults is immense. The continuous nature of the Russian operations, day and night, ensures that defenders remain under constant stress, unable to rest or reinforce their lines. This strategy aims not only to inflict physical losses but also to break the morale of the Ukrainian forces holding the Pokrovsk front. Strategically, the operations near Pokrovsk demonstrate Russia's intent to neutralize Ukrainian strongholds in Donbass while simultaneously weakening their broader logistical network. By striking both the front lines and the command and control elements behind them, Russian forces seek to prevent the AFU from launching effective counterattacks. A broader picture of the Donbass War. The battles at Pokrovsk form part of the wider struggle for control in Donbass, where both sides have poured significant manpower and resources. The destruction of Ukrainian infantry, artillery, and UAV capabilities in this region further tilts the balance toward Russian forces. Meanwhile, Ukrainian attempts to reinforce their positions are increasingly hampered by Russian reconnaissance and artillery strikes, which intercept movement before it reaches the front. The integration of drones into virtually every aspect of Russian operations marks a significant evolution of modern warfare. Whether used for reconnaissance, directing artillery fire, or conducting kamikaze strikes, drones now define the tempo of the battlefield. The footage from Pokrovsk confirms this shift, showing how drone-guided operations amplified the effectiveness of ground and artillery forces. Conclusion. The battle near Pokrovsk underscores the relentless and destructive nature of the conflict. On September 18 and 19, Russian forces of the Center Group of Forces executed devastating operations, destroying Ukrainian military equipment, artillery, infantry positions, and UAV command centers. Through coordinated firepower, constant aerial reconnaissance, and round-the-clock operations, Russian troops steadily pressed their advantage. As the fighting continues, the Pokrovsk direction remains one of the most critical and contested areas of the war. The footage and reports emerging from this sector illustrate not only the brutality of modern warfare but also the pivotal role of technology and coordination in shaping battlefield outcomes. For Ukrainian forces, the relentless firepower has left them scrambling to hold the line. For Russian troops, the operations near Pokrovsk highlight both their tactical discipline and their determination to seize control of key strategic ground.